It was a Tuesday. Just another Tuesday. Gray, unremarkable, the kind that slips by unnoticed in the blur of a working life. For Mark, that meant he was already deep into his work week, managing logistics at a company he'd served for 12 years. He was the guy who made sure every package, every pallet, every truck left on time. He knew every driver by name, every shortcut through the city, every quirk of the system that kept things running when the computers glitched or the weather turned bad. Mark had sacrificed weekends, missed family events, and answered calls at all hours, birthdays, anniversaries, even his son's school play. The job always came first. He did it because that's what you do. You show up, work hard, and take pride in your job. He believed loyalty and effort would be rewarded. That Tuesday started like any other. Lukewarm coffee, shipping manifests, the warehouse hum, the same routine, the same faces, the same sense of purpose. Then, at 10 a.m., an email, meeting with HR, 11 a.m., no details, just a subject line and a calendar invite. He assumed it was routine, maybe a new policy, maybe another round of compliance training. He walked in confident, ready for anything. After all, he'd handled emergencies, last-minute changes, and impossible deadlines. His boss and an HR rep sat across the table, unsmiling. The air was heavy, the kind of silence that says everything before a word is spoken. The conversation was short, restructuring, eliminating redundancies, moving in a new direction. His position was gone. No warning, no negotiation. Someone younger and cheaper would take over a stripped-down version of his job. The company called it streamlining. 12 years erased in 5 minutes. The sum of his career reduced to a few sentences and a handshake. They handed him a severance folder, light for what it represented. A few weeks' pay, a list of resources, a number to call if he had questions. Mark packed his things, a mug from his daughter, a family photo, a few awards, each item a memory, a piece of a life built inside those walls. Coworkers avoided his gaze. They already knew. Some looked away, others whispered, a few offered awkward condolences. The corporate grapevine is faster than any email. News travels on whispers, glances, and the sudden hush when you walk by. As he left, he saw the new kid, fresh out of college, half his salary, at a nearby desk. The future, the company said, was agile. In that moment, Mark understood. His dedication wasn't an asset. It was a liability. The more he gave, the easier he was to replace. The company didn't see his years of service. They saw a cost to be cut. Loyalty, experience, late nights, they were just numbers on a balance sheet. He walked out, not just jobless, but stripped of the identity he'd built over a decade. The place he'd called a second home was suddenly foreign. The world he'd given so much to had moved on without him. The office buzzed on, indifferent to his absence. Mark realized the rules had changed, and he'd never gotten the memo. The game he thought he was playing no longer existed. The music had stopped, and he was left standing in silence. The rhythm of his days, the purpose of his work, gone. For Mark, it wasn't just the end of a job. It was the end of an era. A chapter closed, a future uncertain. And it all happened on just another Tuesday. A day like any other, until it changed everything. What happened to Mark isn't rare, it's the new normal. In the last decade, mass layoffs and restructurings have become routine, especially in industries like tech, finance, and retail. Companies see employment as a transaction, not a relationship. According to a 2023 Gallup poll, only 23% of employees feel their company cares about their well-being. If they can get most of your output for half the cost, you're expendable. In fact, a Harvard Business Review study found that cost-cutting is the top reason for workforce reductions. Middle managers, especially those aged 45-60, are 40% more likely to be cut in restructurings. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that workers over 50 take, on average, twice as long to find new employment. Why? Higher salaries make them bigger targets. A 2022 Mercer survey showed that companies save up to 30% per head by replacing senior staff with less experienced hires. 2 juniors for the price of 1 veteran is a tempting equation. It's not just about salary. Benefits, pensions, and healthcare costs are all lower for younger staff. Technology and the gig economy accelerate this trend. Platforms like Upwork and Fiverr let companies hire talent on demand, bypassing traditional employment altogether. Replace a 90K manager with a 55K analyst and 10K software. Instant savings. According to McKinsey, automation could eliminate up to 30% of tasks in many jobs by 2030. Outsource the rest, pay only for what's needed. Globalization means your replacement could be anywhere in the world, working for a fraction of your salary. Your experience is valuable to you, but to the company, it's just a line item. The bottom line always wins. You're not being replaced because you're bad. You're being replaced because you're expensive. It's a calculation, not a judgment. That's the cold math of the modern workplace. And it's a game most workers are set up to lose. Men in traditional roles, manufacturing, logistics, trades, are especially vulnerable. Take Mike, a machinist who spent 20 years at the same plant. He trained dozens of new hires, fixed problems before they became disasters, and never missed a shift. But when the company brought in new machines and outsourced some work, Mike was let go with barely a thank you. These jobs are measured by output, how many boxes packed, how many parts assembled, making them easy targets for automation or cheaper labor overseas. It's not just factories. In logistics, a truck driver named Sam found his route replaced by an algorithm and a fleet of gig workers willing to do the job for less. The wisdom you bring, mentoring, problem prevention, knowing when a machine sounds off, doesn't show up on a spreadsheet. Companies rarely measure the value of the guy who keeps morale up or spots trouble before it costs thousands. The old company man model, loyal, steady, always there, is now a liability. I heard from Tom, who worked late every night for years, only to be told his role was evolving and he was no longer needed. Dedication and silence, once seen as strengths, are now mistaken for complacency or lack of ambition. The quiet guy who keeps things running is invisible until he's gone. It's a man tax, doing everything right, following the rules, and still paying the price when the rules change. For many, it's not just a job lost, but a sense of purpose and identity. There was a time when loyalty at work meant something real. If you put in the hours, showed up early, stayed late, and gave your best years to a company, you could expect job security in return. A handshake deal, spoken or unspoken, that your hard work would be rewarded with stability. But now, loyalty feels like a one-way road. You give everything, and still end up stuck, missing out on life, waiting for a payoff that never comes. Companies aren't sentimental, they're profit machines. Decisions are made in boardrooms, far from the people whose lives are affected. Layoffs, outsourcing, and automation are just numbers on a spreadsheet. Your loyalty is valued only as long as it benefits the bottom line. The moment your cost outweighs your contribution, you become expendable, no matter how many years you've given. When the math flips, you're out. Decades of service can vanish with a single meeting or an impersonal email. Employees are resources, assets to be managed, optimized, and, when necessary, discarded. The language says it all. Human capital, headcount reduction, streamlining. Your job isn't a reward for past performance. It's a contract for future value. The moment your future value is questioned, your past loyalty means nothing. The myth of the loyal company man is one of the most dangerous lies we tell ourselves. Real loyalty is rare, and in today's world it's often a trap that keeps you working harder for less, while the rules keep changing. For many men, what do you do isn't just small talk. It's a question that defines who you are in the eyes of others, and often in your own eyes too. Work becomes more than a paycheck. It's your identity, your sense of purpose, and the structure that shapes your daily life. So when that job is suddenly gone, it's not just a financial loss, it's an identity crisis. You're left wondering, who am I without this role? The silence at home is deafening. The routines that once filled your days vanish, replaced by uncertainty and emptiness. You question your worth, replaying that final meeting in your head, wondering what you could have done differently. The psychological blow is often worse than the financial one. The loss chips away at your self-esteem, making it hard to reach out for help. Masculinity is so often tied to providing. Losing that role can feel like a personal failure, even when it's out of your control. Depression, anxiety, and isolation follow. You might withdraw from friends, avoid social situations, or struggle to sleep. The structure of your life vanishes. Without the rhythm of work, time loses meaning and motivation fades. You envy neighbors heading to work, avoid people, and make excuses to hide your situation. The pressure to bounce back is immense, but your confidence is shattered. Every rejection feels personal, and the gap on your resume grows. It's a vicious cycle. You need confidence to get hired, but losing your job destroys it. The longer you're out, the harder it gets. This is the hidden injury of being replaced, the deep invisible wound that lingers long after the paychecks stop. So what now? When the job you gave everything to suddenly disappears, it's easy to feel lost. But this is the moment to take action, not to freeze. Bitterness won't help. You have to adapt. Start by taking stock of your emotions, but don't let them paralyze you. Channel that energy into your next move. Shift your loyalty to your own skills and career. Update your resume, refresh your online profiles, and list out every skill you've gained, even the small ones. Think of yourself as a business of one. Your employer is just your biggest client. Start researching other companies or industries where your skills could be valuable. Never rely on one client. Diversify. Keep learning. Sign up for free webinars, join professional groups, and explore side gigs or freelance work to broaden your income streams. The skills that got you here won't keep you here. Identify gaps between your current abilities and what's in demand, then make a plan to close them. Learn new tech, take courses, stay curious. Set a goal to master one new tool or concept each month. Small steps add up fast. Make upskilling a habit. Your skills are your only real job security. Block out time each week for learning, just like you would for meetings or workouts. Build your network before you need it. Reach out to old colleagues, attend industry meetups, and connect with people on LinkedIn. Even a quick message can open doors. Connect with people across departments and companies. Offer help, share insights, and be visible. Relationships are built on mutual support, not just favors. A strong network is your safety net when change comes. The more people you know, the more opportunities you'll hear about, often before they're even posted. Don't wait until you're unemployed to start. Always keep your resume updated and your eyes open for new opportunities, even when you feel secure. Build a financial cushion, 6 months of expenses and savings. Automate your savings, cut unnecessary expenses, and track your spending to stay on target. It's not just about money, it's about power and options. With savings, you can negotiate better, take calculated risks, and avoid desperation. With a cushion, you can wait for the right job, not just any job. You'll have the freedom to choose what's best for you and your future. Preparation turns catastrophe into inconvenience. Treat your career like a project, plan, invest, and adapt. That's your real survival kit for the modern world. Losing your job feels like betrayal, a sudden, cold ending to years of dedication. It's a shock that can leave you questioning your worth, your future, and even your identity. But you can't stay stuck in that pain. The world keeps moving, and so must you. The real work begins with rebuilding, separating who you are from what you do. It's about rediscovering your strengths, your passions, and your value beyond a job title. Take time to reflect, talk to people you trust, and write down what truly matters to you. You're not just a logistics manager or an accountant or a sales rep. You're a problem solver, a leader, a mentor, a creative thinker. These are skills that go far beyond any single company or position. That value is yours. It doesn't belong to any company. It's what you bring to every table, every team, every challenge. This pain can be a wake-up call, a signal that the old contract, the old way of working is broken. It's time to write a new one, on your terms. Hard work and loyalty aren't enough anymore. You must be adaptable, proactive, and always learning. Take a class, learn a new tool, reach out to someone in a different field. Invest in yourself. You're now the CEO of your own career. No one else will manage it for you. Set your goals, make your plan, and take ownership of your path. The hope isn't in companies changing, it's in you. You have the power to adapt, to grow, and to find new opportunities even when the old ones disappear. Mark found a new job at a smaller company, one that valued his experience and ideas. He's not alone. People like Sarah, who started her own consulting business after a layoff, or James, who switched industries and found new purpose, prove that reinvention is possible. Mark negotiated hard, worked smarter, and set boundaries. He made sure his new job fit his life, not the other way around. Sarah learned to say no to projects that didn't align with her values. James prioritized time with his kids. Mark now coaches his kids' team and doesn't answer weekend emails. Sarah volunteers at her local school. James spends evenings with his family, not his inbox. Their loyalty is to their craft, their families, and themselves. They've learned to invest in what truly matters. They learned hard lessons and came out stronger, more resilient, and more fulfilled. So can you. Remember, your next chapter is yours to write. Start today. Reflect, learn, adapt, and take action. The future belongs to those who build it,